I'm quite an avid podcast listener in, well, the areas that I'm accustomed to, mainly gaming podcasts, unsurprisingly, considering I'm wearing a Space Invaders t-shirt. But, I mean, I have like a 25-minute walk to work, and my main job, I don't often like to socialise with the people there. I'm just quite happy to sit there, eat, and listen to something on my iPod or play a game on my, or preferably both. If it, because there's a few games that I'm quite wanting to play on my iPod that unfortunately don't have the option to listen to MP3s at the same time, which means that I'm less likely to play them. But anyway, I fell a bit behind and only just found out that well, my favourite podcasts come from the One Up network, and only just found out that Garnet Lee, who's been kind of running it, well, the main show that I've been listening to, he's kind of been in charge of for the past, I don't know how many years. It seemed like a very long time, because it's an awful lot of shows. It's well over 100 shows, because I was sad enough to. Well, I've not downloaded all of the latest incarnation, the Listen Up podcast. I've not downloaded all of those. I've listened to them all. Like, I've downloaded and deleted them. I've got on one of my portable drives somewhere. I don't know where. I've got, well, after the fallout of the Zip Davis UGO thing, I kind of went on a panic spree and downloaded all the podcasts of the various shows. Not intending to listen to probably most of them, but I mean, I started listening to the One Up Yours podcast, and then eventually, when situations changed and I needed more than one podcast a week to listen to, I started listening to some of the other ones. Um, but like One Up Yours, I started listening to probably about 3 years ago, uh, somewhere around 3 years ago. I can't remember how on earth. So probably just a forum post and just like, well, that might be interesting, and listen to it. It was around the time I think that Luke Smith started there, and kind of listened to it ever since. And it's kind of weird because I, I can understand what, because they were talking about it in the last show that I've not listened to the epilogue that I downloaded last night to it, but I've just finished listening to what is the last show. Uh, excusing stuff at PAX and stuff like that. I mean, they were talking about it on there, and I can understand why people reacted badly. They were like kind of obviously like all the fans are sad that he's moving on, and it means we're all going to be listening to something. It's going to be different, whatever comes next, whether we stay with like whatever One Up puts out or not. But yeah, I can understand why that is, but obviously it's great for him because he's moving on to a better job. Obviously, otherwise he would stay where he is. I mean, it's just the nature. He wasn't fired or let go for financial reasons, like the people unfortunately were. The last time there was a big split off in Rebel FM and Geekbox, and I think it's Geekbox that I'm going to be probably following now more than any of the others. I haven't actually listened to that one yet. I did listen to a lot of the spin-offs from the one-up UGO Fallout, but they all eventually died by the wayside, and I went back to listen up. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now because obviously Garnett's going to be doing something because that's what he does. It's like I said, he's always created the show that obviously he's not the only one behind it, but he's always been on the show that I want to listen to more than any of the others. So it'd be interesting to see what he does next with his new team, and I don't know. I'll probably give the new One Up show a chance because it's kind of been my aside from it's been the news website I'll go to more than any of the others because the rest I'll just go to the gaming forums that I visit for the news. But yeah, and obviously in a weirdly timed move, John Davison is who's the other like as long as like Garnet and John were like in the show together, it's just like I could listen to any topics they were talking about. It's just the combination of the two. It was great. I mean, I did kind of like miss it when Shane went, and obviously when Luke went, because the four of them were only together on the show for a brief while, and I've been listening to a lot longer than, well, without the four of them together than I ever did with. But yeah, and John's moving on. Can't, I'm Game Pro, I want to say, but like I said, I fell behind with listening, so I'm a little bit behind with the news, and I haven't read a lot of it yet. So yeah, but I'll be following him, well, and his new website and his new charges, I guess you'd say, since he's more than likely going to be in the senior role wherever he goes, or one of the senior roles. Um, so yeah, but he especially with what he the few like bits he said he had planned, because obviously it was only a couple of days before the recording that he moved from found and had a chance to plan whatever he's doing. But he seems one of the people who actually knows what to do and what is coming, and like he has an interesting and a take that I agree with, because I stopped listening to, well, I stopped reading a lot of the news website and just kind of relied on the podcast for a lot of the news and just stuff. It was interesting because it was like I kind of they did lead me down a couple of stray paths. Like I didn't get on with Fallout 3 despite being, but I bought it because I was sucked into the hype from the show, and yeah, I mean, but I kind of relied on the podcast more than anything else to guide me in what the major news, and then I receive a magazine from subscription, which kind of fills in the gaps. And he seems to want to use that to like reboot the media outlets. I don't want to get too because it probably is like magazine and internet and other stuff that he's gone into. Like I said, I've not really caught up with a lot of it, but yeah, this is a completely pointless video. I was just trying to get out some of my thoughts on. But it's going to be weird, and I in some way, and like I'm glad it's happened in some ways. I mean, it's sad whenever a team gets broken up, but it's going to provide more. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to provide me with more stuff I actually want to listen to, because I do have gaps, and I don't know how many times I've listened to the 800 or so other stuff, other tracks I've got on my iPod. So it'd be nice to have a set, regular thing on my walk to work, just like I can actually plan it out again, rather than having the gaps I used to have before, which is kind of why I fell out of the podcast scene and just kind of fell behind with it. So yes, completely pointless video again, but I just thought I'd get out my thoughts on that kind of fallout and completely waste my time. And yours, if you actually watch this, so well done.